Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Glarious Smite League. I'm Laffy, joined by Matt on the chair too. How are you, Matt?
I am great, thank you, Laffy. I'm looking forward to this LD game, which is a big game in terms of the LD standings. Two teams were being relatively struggling and looking to get a few wins, or a win on the board for Goosedra and a win for Protector Yggdrasil. They're actually doing better than I realised. My bad. Did an oops.
Well, yeah, Protector Yggdrasil currently in the middle of the board could potentially temporarily boost themselves up into second place. Goostra being at the very, very bottom, which is very unfortunate. Not something that you ever want to see out of a team, but potentially they could 2-0 this set, maybe, do other things, and they could walk themselves, well, middle of the pack. Who knows? There's a lot of different things going on for LD. As we see, the first few bands coming out, Chiron from Protected Yggdrasil, followed up by a Maui and Freya. Talk to me about the Chiron ban. I mean, I know Chiron is a good, strong ability hunter right now, and so I can understand it, but are we really... The first ban of the set?
Yeah. I don't know, it seems very strange to me. It might just be something that, they've heard on the grapevine that I think it's Physius playing mid for Goostra has a good Chiron potentially, but I mean, I wouldn't opt towards banning it in the first round. I mean, Chiron has its value, very big damage, being able to use Bluestone, Crushers, and Heartseeker very well at the minute, and his ultimate just allowing for really good starts to a fight, so just clean up in the fights. But I wouldn't particularly ban it. Like, there are much better gods you could play ADC, like the Sol and the Freya, which have been banned on the other side. So.
Yeah, perfectly understand that. And as Thanatos also coming out as last ban for Protected Yggdrasil, there's a lot of currently good picks open as well, actually banning that Chiron out. There's still Holorun, there's still Ishtar, there's still quite a few
Time to feast on gods!
Gets hovered and locked in first pick for Protected Yggdrasil. That's not really something common either.
I'm very confused. I'm pretty sure Glig has a 4, and he is. Yeah, it's strange that they haven't looked to prioritize it. I know Mystic on the other team. I'm not overly sure if he's playing jungle. Mystic has a pretty decent 4 in terms of LD, as the Ishtar, as you were saying. But yeah, I think that could be pretty bad. Fenrir also getting through, and not either team not really looking to prioritize these strong jungle picks.
Yeah, certain. I mean, Stronghold also being currently the strongest role within the lane, just always being active, always being available with the current Bluestone as well. So, none of the strong junglers getting prioritized, especially with only one of them being banned out, Thanatos, and not looking at Susano, looking at Fenrir, Saker, anyone on the board basically, even a Willish. Interesting. But, I can understand. They've locked Charybdis, so hey, take Ishtar.
They will
It's
all
a physical hunter
obey
matchup.
their
Fair
goddess.
enough. Not that I prefer
It's
it.
time to turn this
There
battle
are still magical
in our
ADC supports
favor.
on the board, Alaron and Knows, and you know what? But with Athena, I have no complaints. Athena very, very strong, very good global rotations, very powerful within the taunt, so in an enclosed area, Athena can do what she needs to do for a team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the ability just to have that global ultimate and just pressure out different areas of the maps, I feel like is something Gooster will be able to take advantage of. Be interesting to see how Drackle pilots the Athena. Interesting as well to see that Gordon's playing solo. I know at support is normally his main role. It'd be interesting to see what he looks to opt for, as Fenrir coming through here as a very strong pick.
Well, as the apple's turn, someone's going to have to deal with the dog. Otherwise, he's just going to run rampage. Atlas also gets hover protectors of Yggdrasil. Very, very strong first 3 picks, despite the Charybdis first pick, although...
Burden yourself no
Once again, I'm not sure why we weren't seeing a jungle prioritization within that first pick, but I guess they can understand you don't want to first pick Fenrir. There's still... Even despite Fenrir just being one of the strongest junglers right now, there's still a lot of counters, there's still a lot of different ways to deal with it. So I could understand that, but Charybdis is such a weird choice, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Here's something I expected though, Mystic picking up before. It's one of his preferred gods. Historically, over the last few seasons at GSL, he's managed to put in a few decent performances on the god. So, yeah, honestly, I am very strongly favouring Goosedra's draft. I just think it's picks what are overall just better and stronger and have sort of just a lot of options with the gods. Like you can do many things with the top three, like play different ways. So you can play through Athena engages.
I would certainly agree. Goosedra definitely have the strongest top three here, but you also just can't take it that the Charybdis, despite how she has been throughout the season, despite never have a basically never having an ultimate post like pretty much level 5 really, you have to. There's one thing we haven't really considered. That's how Charybdis actually does in this new map. The Maw could very well actually be quite a strong contender for getting picks within the new jungle, within the new Fire Giant Pit area. So there's a lot of potential, I think, for her, and especially when even last season she was still the best, like kind of one of the best late game ADCs. So maybe this Charybdis is just a sleeper pick that we aren't aware of, and she might do well. As the second phase bans have been laid out for us, we have Agni and Poseidon coming out from Goosedra, very respectable bans, and Toph and Nike coming up from Protectors of Yggdrasil. Nike?
I'm very confused at the both ban when they've picked Fenrir. I just think, honestly, that's a wasted ban. Like, Fenrir completely murders Thoth. It's the ability to stick to him through the dash, no CC immunity in the ultimate. I just think that's a wasted ban, honestly. And they could try and ban something more threatening, like the Cullens got through this entire pick and ban phase. One of the top solo laners right now, and a sort of big nuisance to deal with.
There's still so much going on with Puck, and as you said, there's Cucullin, there's how are we looking for on the mid side? We still have Morgan Le Fay, we still have way too many options as Discordia currently gets hovered in. Goosedra's draft just gets stronger and stronger, but can a Discordia really deal with a Fenrir Atlas? That's not certain about how that would do, but it may do fine. We've seen a lot of this matchup kind of before, where Discordia will get engaged on by a Fenrir, but you can stop that.
My power cannot be contained.
Yeah, definitely. I think
I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna have to hold back about the Discordia thought, because then there's Cucullin and Merlin. Now it's Atlas, Fenrir, Cucullin versus a character with stealth with a small little tiny leap. It might be a little bit of a struggle for that Discordia. She's gonna need some very strong peel from that Athena if she wants to make it alive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Discordia's matchup into Merlin, it's like kind of 50-50. It's not the best, but it's like I don't think there's much like it's not really a winning one. But I think late game at Discordia is gonna really struggle into that amount of dive. I think the main thing with this Discordia is just playing through the early game. You've got tons of setup around the mid lane. Merlin, that 3v3 is very rough for Merlin. I think if they're looking to play around anywhere, I think they should be taking advantage of this Merlin pick. They've got strong amounts of setup for this Discordia to really thrive, and obviously with the ultimate, doesn't even have to relatively step up or be like far away to just deal out good amounts of damage. And with the amount of damage coming from 4, I think it might be it might be a struggle, for Ashe in the mid lane. But Merlin definitely one of the strongest mid laners right now. The ability just to use all the really good items is just only really outclassed by Agni.
The end is now.
Well, I was going to pose a question about while we're waiting for the last pick to be picked in by Goosedra, as that is just a Snaplock Jormungandr.
Powerful. I mean, Jormungandr has the potential to be good here. We have seen some Jormungandrs before in GSL this season, and some have been quite effective, others less so. So, yeah, I think I mean, I'm not really understanding the purpose of the pick. Like,
look, I think we both here, right? We've had a lot of watch parties. We've seen UD sets where Jormungandr has been prioritized very well, or picked almost every set, should we say, by Daves in UD. So I've not had even in general, I've never had a too form of a fond opinion about Jormungandr. So is Is this hype? Is this hype for us that Jormungandr has been picked again?
Yom could be the pick here, Laffy. I'm telling you. When I see a Jormungandr, the stocks just go up. All of my stocks are on Goosedra right now. Honestly, unbelievable. God uses tablet very well. To be fair.
Invest in Goose Coin?
Oh, my Goose Coin numbers are just through the roof.
Well, I'm not gonna hate the Jormungandr too much. I mean, I think I think he's going to very likely get heavily outpressured by this Cucullin in lane, of course. Cucullin arrives to lane transformed, or almost transformed, and with Bluestone and stuff. So I think it's gonna be... I mean, I guess as long as he plays it carefully and safe, wait for a few items, he should be fine, but anything could happen at this stage.
Yeah, I think the fact that Yorm can't really be just thrown about by the Cucullin dash and Rage Stance, I think honestly that might be, like, that catches a lot of solo laners out on that transformation around level 2 in lane. I think Jormungandr are actually probably a bit safer because of it. So
But
I don't think Jormungandr should get
you are
caught
still
out.
taking, the damage for it, the Bluestone damage, and then on top of that you have Jormungandr passive.
Very true.
I forget if it's either 10% or 5%. They've changed it that many times.
It's along those lines, yeah, but I think being pushed away from your tower at times as a solo laner is honestly more harmful.
Small engagement coming out in the mid lane on level 2. Fizzy currently caught out, no dash! And that is a first blood for Glig with the Brutalize. Very, very good start for Goosedra already. That was what we were worried about with the mid lane potentially here. This Cordia can, with no dash and no small, especially with a level 2 engagement, having Strife and erratic behavior. Just having no erratic behavior could be very, very bad and cause some early deaths. You have to really play safely on this Discordia, especially when it comes to that late game transition. It's going to be not looking so good when you only have a small escape that gives you stealth. Granted, it gives you cooldown, but it's difficult to play around. You really have to be careful with taking these mid fights.
I've just had some input from production as well. I do believe the team titles are the wrong way around because I think it was Protected Yggdrasil and Glig who got the first blood.
You would be correct on that.
I would be correct. Production, what the hell, man?
Gordon has been soloed in solo lane. This is, well, Protectors of Yggdrasil are very much on top as Griffinizer has been sundered by the Athena, but Dracul is getting low and low, but still alive. Miraculously, but now the dual lane in a very much in a tactical disadvantage. The Charybdis, I can't hate the Charybdis somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much of Charybdis. I wasn't really a believer to begin with, but a very impressive display being shown in the duo lane from Protected. Very impressive.
Yeah, so let me. Well, we're going to hold that thought, and there goes the pull in from. Well, before I can even say anything, Dracul is gone. That's 3 kills within less than 3 minutes for Protectors of Yggdrasil. This is looking like a very scary potential snowball stomp for Protectors of Yggdrasil.
Yeah, honestly, I'm quite shocked actually. With how strong Protectors of Yggdrasil have looked coming out the start. Like, there's players on Goosedra what have always been sort of rated decently, like Mystic and Gordon, especially, but like Gordon falling in getting soloed in the solo lane, like it's something you don't really expect to see, and I think it's a testament to how much Protectors of Yggdrasil have improved as a team. It's really nice to see how much some of the members of that team have grown.
Well, when you make a few changes, you trade a few players, you do some little bit of restructuring, you may find out that after just a little bit of a rough start, you might, when you get switching a little bit around, have a little bit of SNG, you start to see where some of those strengths come in. I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, Gordon actually was a member of Protectors of Yggdrasil. Is that a yo gift, Mirandus? Thank you. Double with Prime, anyone? Sorry. Thank you, Mirandus, for the gifts. But yeah, Gordon used to play on protectively Yggdrasil. Kind of a bit of a GSL derby we've got going on.
A little bit of scrap coming out in the dual lane, but once again, it's just always pressure. It's pressure, pressure, pressure. All three lanes, really, for Protectors of Yggdrasil currently have pressure. 3-0! All three pressure. We're tripling it up. 3 members of Protectors of Yggdrasil have all 3 kills. There's 3 lanes with pressure. 3-3-3.
A 2k gold lead as well for Protectors of Yggdrasil. That's a very great start to have. Kai with the 5 gifted. Thank you. Too generous. Thank you, Kai.
He does it in the name of Protector. How lovely. Right, so how do we even recall back from this stuff? You know what? Let's have a look at the build. We haven't even touched on really built the name of. Jormungandr has gone into Axe, and I'm assuming that's going to be Axe Tablet. How are we feeling about it? Because especially Jormungandr doesn't really take good. Well, Jormungandr has okay procs for Axe, but doesn't really take advantage of it as much as, say, Gilded Arrow, for example.
Definitely. I think it can still work. I think Sundering Axe is a very powerful upgrade. Obviously, Diamond Arrow, I believe it is on Jormungandr, is also very strong, but I assume Gordon's just looking to be maybe a bit more tankier, a bit more poke orientated come late game. I mean, he's going to have that Tablet of Destiny, providing more damage, and he's going to be able to stack that up pretty fast with the balls he can put around lane. So I think late game, some of the poke he will have before like engaging around fights and dancing around FGs could be really impactful.
Well, if it'll get to that stage.
Yeah.
3 kills in under 3 minutes, you may not even make it to a late game stage where that Sundering Axe will be there, depending on how many tablet stacks you can build up during lane phase, because my friend, you don't get it from your auto attacks, so you have to keep hitting abilities, you have to keep hitting the Venomous Hazes, you have to keep hitting Submerges, you have to keep hitting the Bellows, every single part of your kit, aside from the World Horn, so, you know, you have to keep this, like, the Griffinizer now being aggressed onto. There's the Sunder, there's the Mjolnir's Tune, and there's also Tectonic Rift, but Griffinizer is just walking away, not taking any damage, not taking much CC. Takane not really in that engagement, so not really much of a threat for Griffinizer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Charybdis is just such a safeguard. Like you can honestly just get away with murder with some of the things you do on Charybdis. You know,
and that's all thanks, and that's thanks to Whirlpool form. Not even the more hungers, but Whirlpool form just being an almost instant untargetable ability, taking you away from the game, making you undamageable. And hey, you can pass through player made walls, and that's it. You're out. You can get a little bit of increased movement speed. You can enhance that further up to 35%. It's pretty, yeah, you know, you have spike shots, so you can just hit the wave from a distance. You got capsize as well with the prop shred. Actually, the Griffinites were taking this 1v1, using Whirlpool form to its advantage, pressuring out to Carnivore, trying to get a little bit of damage, but there was a retribution in return. But as there's also another mid 3v3, but Mystic Megatron, cost of the beads just for trying for an engagement, and there's just not much currently for Goosedra where they can try to alleviate the 4k gold lead almost that they've lost.
Yeah, I think
we're gonna have to hold that thought as Mystic Megatron currently lurking on dual lane side. Griffinizer on health, does get the wall, does get the beads. So speaking of the wall perform of Charybdis is just too safe to gank, and with no Anvil of Dawn available, well, walking out scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, especially late game, that Whirlpool form, if Thor's ever looking to ult, honestly, if this Charybdis can react in time, it is so big to swing a fight. Like, I don't know, like just the ability to knock up, just take no damage completely. If Griffinizer is able to react to when that Thor's ulting, it could be really difficult for Mystic to be impactful in these late game team fights.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like Charybdis, we might have been very, very surprised at this Charybdis first pick, but it might just be sleeper enough that it really can get away with murder here effectively.
Mm. I'm also really impressed. Oh, Mirandus gifting another 5. Thank you. Kisses to you, Mirandus. Mwah. Sub with Prime as well, chat, while you're at it. Sub with
Over at Prime, as there's potentially another dual in rotation. That's an Anvil of Dawn that was hit by Mystic Megatron. Unfortunate. And there's a Defender Olympus as well, but hey! Whirlpool form, there's the Thunder coming out for Gryphonizer. The Morhungers pushes Dracul away with the who charges the preemptive strike. That's preemptive strike off cooldown. Gryphonizer walking away again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous now. Like, this god is just so safe, and honestly, I'm taken by surprise that, I mean, 4 into Charybdis, like, probably not the greatest, like, I don't know, I'm just overwhelmed laughing that this pick is doing as well as it is. It's not pick we've seen much of at all. It's really taken
We were surprised. We were surprised by the first pick, but it's paying off. It is completely paying off, and into where in a meta where I think physical ADCs are where magical ADCs are really struggling to find their foot in this place, because magical ADCs are just so much more better than physicals, and even then, like, junglers are very overtuned as well. To see a character, I guess, a very strong safe hunter like Charybdis, best at 1v1s late game, see her thriving so well is. I wouldn't say it's criminal, but it's just, I guess, for a first pick, we shouldn't, I guess, really be over surprised. It's just doing the job, really.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Taka is not typically an ADC player, so I wasn't too sure overly how he was going to transition, but I think he was like struggling with the 1v1 earlier. You know, and Taka is a very good mid laner, but I've never seen him play ADC before, and I think he might be a different player late game, but I think ADC, it's different, much different to mid lane.
Oh, Glig has made a rotation into the dual lane, unfortunately trying to catch with the Ragnarok, but will be met with the Blaze of Retribution. Glig just falling on a quarter of himself, but will get away. Takane is surrounded as Floodlow now coming in with the pull, tries to get them, gets the beads, but there's the Defender Olympus now being mezzed out as Floodlow. Gryphonizer able to just take the tower for free. Dracul uses the preemptive strike onto the wave, gets a block stack, but he takes a small amount of damage in return for that, as Gryphonizer's just, well, Mystic Megatron is out here invading a blue buff for a very low Pucko. Gordon is actually doing quite a bit of damage now, it seems like, on this Jormungandr. That Pucko is feeling a little bit pressure. Does have the tier 2 teleport available though, but here is Glig with the Fenrir jumping in. There's the Brutalize. Over in the back, Mystic Megatron charging up the Anvil of Dawn. Tried to get the Horn off, but did not match. Glig, though, met with the Anvil of Dawn, and that will be a complete 100-0 for Mystic Megatron. Pucko still potentially on the low to dying though. Dracul gets the Confound, and that is a Mjolnir as a 2-man double tap for.
Yeah, I mean, Mystic has these moments on 4. He's proven to have these good moments on 4. I think Gordon really didn't need to die there. I mean, I can't really remember if it was out of mana, but he definitely still had his ultimate up. I think that could have been way more favorable for Goosedra. But like, Gordon's not really gonna catch up with Pucko a bit here. He's just gonna remain about a level down, which is not ideal at all.
Well, with now the jungler Mystic Megatron having both kills on the board, Goosedra looking a little bit better. Still, protecting the Yggdrasil is still 4k ahead. Not really desirable, but I guess a little bit better than what you would want.
Definitely. Fizzy kind of lower here in mid as Glig's coming in.
Yep, and there goes the Ragnarok. That will a little bit of a waste of a Ragnarok, but will be a kill. And there, Jackal just hanging around a little bit too long. That is a double kill. There's the Anvil of Dawn from Mystic Megatron, does not connect, but there's the entire kit dump. But Blake will just have to use Aegis for now, and that will be a retreat. So now Protectors of Yggdrasil climbing back to up 2 kills. That is a 6-2 in favor of Protectors of Yggdrasil. Now 5, almost 6,000 gold ahead. Whatever small recuperate that Goosedra had has now just been instantly snatched away by Protectors.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all, honestly. Looks like oof, I mean, when a Charybdis is pushed up that far, I mean, I think we've seen Mystic go to left or ADC or dual lane. Sorry, words. We've seen him go there about twice for sort of unfavorable ganks. I mean, Charybdis has now been pushed a few times at this Ishtar's tower line, and we've not really seen much in response there. And honestly, I think he really should start looking at going over there. This Charybdis is pretty massive right now.
And it's certainly something interesting in terms of course, we know that the physical hunter starts are usually Death's Toll, RC, Rage. Interestingly enough, Griffinizer has not opted for Rage, but instead gone straight for a Dominance, which, fair enough, I completely understand. Dominance is still very strong right now, and has opted for Demon Blade instead of a Rage, which wouldn't really want to do that. Rage has more power and way much more crit chance. Demon Blade by itself, of course, is not a bad crit item, but surely you want Rage, especially when you have a 3-level lead over the enemy ADC. Surely you would want Rage stacks for more crit and more power, and you know, be able to get, maybe even when it comes to like doing a little bit of rotations, just getting those stacks online. Surely?
Honestly, I think, yeah, Rage is a better item. Like, much more power, much more crit. It's nice to have that little bit without having to fully go into crit. I think that's what physical ADCs are sort of preferring. But I guess the only argument you can make for not going Rage is that, like, I don't know, maybe he just wants to power farm to 20, and he's not really killing this Ishtar very much. Like, he's only got 1 kill on the board with no assist, so maybe that was his thinking. Like, that's the only sort of logical thing I can think of, honestly.
Griffinizer here could potentially be in a little bit of trouble, but does get a safe back, so nothing really much to complain about there. But, you know, something that I've really noted so far about this, so we're not really seeing a lot of grouper engagements. And actually, speaking of grouping for engagements, Goosedra are currently looking to take the Tony Fury, but Protectors of Yggdrasil are aware, Floodlow already on the present on scene, as 3 of the members are walking up. Needs an Aegis forced out, however, from Ghost Rider, but now on the retreat are Goosedra, and 2 have been already taken out. That is the Gamma Ray Burst, and that is the Gold Fury for Yggdrasil. Chase continues as there's a Golden Apple of Discord, but there is a Ragnarok to eat Fizzy McFluff alive. 3 more kills for Protectors of Yggdrasil.
Yeah, I mean,
7,000 gold ahead.
Really not ideal. Honestly, a bit of a botched Gold Fury call. I think at this point in the game, Goosedra being 8k behind, they honestly just don't have the burn. Like, Taka only has 2 items, Mystic wasn't really applying DPS to the objective, Scordia not the world's best burn. Like, I think that's a really poor call. Better to give something like, be able to get Fire Giant off of it with Merlin Shred on objectives.
Feeling a little bit confident. Protectors of Yggdrasil are going for that Fire Giant. Goosedra are, however, aware. Fire Giant's falling slower and lower and lower. But the Protectors get the Fire Giant. Mystic Megatron currently in the back, all by himself with an Anvil of Dawn used, will fall. Shell coming out from members as Gordon currently still 1 health, so not able to exactly try to get engaged. Tries to get Ghost Rider 2. He dies to the venomous haze. That is very, very unfortunate. But still, fighting arising as Glig currently fighting Dracul as other members of Goosedra are arriving, but Glig sees an opportunity to get Gordon as he's still in lane. Very much kills him with a Ragnarok and a few autos, and that's pretty much the spell of that fight. That's 1 kill to Goosedra, but another 2 to Protectors of Yggdrasil, and a Fire Giant for 4 members of Protectors of Yggdrasil.
Yeah, it's Well, I think the word to describe it would be bleak. I think it is bleak. Ash, as much as I love him, slightly troll dying there, but you know, it happens to the best of us. And that Jormungandr is slapping with that Tablet of Destiny now, surely.
Well,
9k damage?
where do you take the stance of where is the value of the Tablet of Destinies? Because right now, Gordon is currently sitting on 33 stacks, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I can see correctly, Merlin is currently holding on to 34. At what point do we see the value of Tablet that it does enough damage? Well, I'm going to have to hold that thought. It's Dracul currently getting picked up into 2v1, and so is Gordon as well. It's all for a tier 1 tower on the right side. That is going to be a complete wipe, and that is going to be 17 stacks. Oh, no.
17? That does look like 32. Interesting. Now, the thing with Tablet is that, honestly, it depends what items you've built around it. Like, if you've got Book of Thoth and you've got your Tablet, like, honestly, it starts doing good amounts of damage once you've got about 25 to 30. Whereas this Jormungandr, even though he's got it first item, like, he's only really gonna see that at around probably like 40 to 50 stacks, like, really good value out of it. But once you get it, like, all the stacks and everything, the damage that item pumps out is ridiculous. Like, with Merlin, if you're able to poke with, like, a Vortex, like a Vortex bomb, for example, the damage with the ticks of the Vortex and the dots you get off of Gem Reaver and Tablet, as it looks like Ash is going into, like, the damage you can pump out is ridiculous.
Well, the Yggdrasil get a completely free uncontested Pyromancer as they look to just, well, wipe all the towers off the map, and I think that's completely fair. Although, potentially, if they get any picks, I mean, they have 13,000. They have a 13,000 gold lead at this point. They could very well just easily take a pick and just run with a Phoenix for completely free. With the comp that they have, they can absolutely look for just any pick and just go straight for Phoenix at this point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they've got quite a few ways of engaging as well. They've got Fenrir. I mean, Fenrir hasn't opted for Blink, which I think's interesting when he's got the lead he has. I think that just sort of actually takes away one way of engaging in these sieges. Obviously, Cuchulainn doesn't have Blink either, actually. That is strange. I think that might actually harm their engage a bit.
Well, with Fenrir, you still, of course, you can still engage with Ragnarok. You still have Unchained with the stun, so I can understand why you wouldn't go Blink in that case, but of course you do want to Blink for Ragnarok, which would be your best case scenario, but you know. You also have to, you can't really ignore the, like, burst of a Thor. You kind of do need Bees and Aegis for a Thor engage, but you can also just beat Ragnarok the Thor and force his relics. So, yeah, I'm not entirely too sure on that. Cuchulainn, I can understand getting Bees. Not sure about tier 2 Bees at this stage, but getting it in aggression, you know, getting it in case you get Athena taunted into a lot of damage. You don't want to take that damage, so you can opt to beat it. So I can understand it, but without Blink, it is a little bit of a hurt from the engagement. As we're seeing an engagement, there's a ground slam onto 3 of them, and Bucko is just taking no damage in the back. Meanwhile, all of Goosedra are taking a lot of damage. That's the golden apple of Discord that was unfortunately not connect. Gordon currently in the air with the Horn, but that is a team wipe. It's already, the fight's already over. Before I can even commentate on anything, the fight's already over. 3 are down for Goosedra. And Protectors of Yggdrasil are going to go straight back onto that Fire Giant. Mystic Megatron currently the only one with ultimate available, Anvil of Dawn, but only Merlin missing with the Beast currently for about another 100 seconds. This is, it's going to be tough for Goosedra to engage, as Mystic Megatron currently in the Anvil of Dawn will land down. The Goosedra secure the Fire Giant with the Mjolnir's attunement. Gordon will fall down for that transgression. The Runic Bomb was not there to secure it, but that is just a small delay in Protectors of Yggdrasil's plans.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world for them, honestly. Like, only Dracul and Mystic have the FG buff. It's not EFG, so, like, the difference in making sieging actually shredding the Phoenix is sort of not there. Yeah. The only issue is sort of the damage that Mystic could pump out. And honestly, with where he is right now, just getting that Bloodforge online, I think honestly he needs to go big for Goosedra to have any chance of pulling this game back.
Griffinizer caught out with no beads, very, very low. Will get caught with a large chain of CC and a lot of damage, but unfortunately, just because of the XP deficit, they're just not able to get that damage out. And Griffinizer with the wall platform just, well, rip this, walking away, leaving a healthy. A very, very, I think Goosedra were very correct there to recognize that because the rest of Protectors of Yggdrasil are already kind of backing off, Griffinizer not really respecting it, so potentially looking for that pick, maybe trying to get it whenever you can, but just not having overall the damage to be able to actually enforce that pick and take it away from Protectors of Yggdrasil. Very, very unfortunate. Goosedra, both teams currently fighting around for Pyromancer. Protectors get the Pyromancer away from Goosedra, and now Gordon, very, very low, has to use the Horn of Ragnarok to retreat. Not what you want, but at least Gordon isn't dead for the time being. That still can prevent a Phoenix Siege coming out from Protectors of Yggdrasil.
Yeah, I mean, Firebomb's gonna make it nice, run down left. One thing I'm a bit confused about is Gordon, so far in his build, has no cooldown reduction. I feel like, you know, if he just had a bit more, like, he'd be able to be more impactful with this tablet. Like, getting it stacked, for example, like, just getting your abilities down more often. Like, you're going to do more things. I think Jormungandr obviously benefits from that. I just don't understand why there is a lack of cooldown reduction items where Jormungandr can build so many of them, which are very good items right now. It just, I think it's a bit of a misplay with how he's built.
Well, the left side town falling, and now the gold fairy being really done by Protectors of Yggdrasil. I don't want to say almost 20,000 gold, but it is basically 20,000 gold deficit. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that is, it's an uphill battle for sure. You know.
But Goosedra aren't out of the fight yet. They still, Protectors of Yggdrasil have attempted a few Phoenix Sieges and they haven't come out successful yet. So they're not completely out of the fight yet. But it's gonna get to that point of how long can Goosedra really keep their strength until it eventually falls down to Protectors, or how long until the snowball just eventually just depletes. It completely flatlines, and at this point we're in an even game where Goosedra can actually start taking fights properly as a team despite the gold disadvantage.
I think, I don't know, I think another issue is that, yeah, they have a gold disadvantage, but they also have a level advantage. I mean, only Mystic is level 20 on Goosedra, whereas on Protector Yggdrasil, all members 20, basically full build, apart from Ludlow, who's not very far off. I mean, they just need to try and get any farm they can at this point, get those power spikes from starter items online, and might be able to contest them with Phoenix.
Goosedra potentially looking for this Phoenix engagement, but they're already, Visibly Flop has already been deleted from the fight. Drackle shortly following after as the chase continues as the Gamma Ray burst, hitting Takane. Takane now caught out, will just fall. The more hungers does not, well, the more hungers, ability. And now Protectors of Yggdrasil with 3 members down for Goosedra. They're in no position to defend, that is, but saying that, though, Protectors of Yggdrasil do not have any minions, so it is taking them a while to take this Phoenix down. Gordon will try to use the horn just to do a little bit of damage, but now potentially in danger. 1 health, gets away with the sliver, and Ghost Rider just not able to find, flickers in, trying to find the connect to hit him, but will not. Now the Emblem of Dawn used on him, beats and ages will be popped out. Now the blink coming out from Gordon, potentially Ghost Rider could fall here, but no damage, and now Gordon very much out of position, and the rest of the Protectors of Yggdrasil can just continue to go on him, and, well, Drackle's already respawned.
That is a worrying sign when you're respawning that fast at this point in the game.
And it's paying off. There's the compound getting Griffinizer quite low, half health, and they can defend this right Phoenix, the respawn timer.
Honestly, Laffy, I'm gonna say it. Surely nothing goes wrong now. I'm saying the line. I said the line, Laffy. Nothing goes wrong now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm confident, buddy. I mean, I've just been so impressed with this Protectors of Yggdrasil team. Like, they have grown bounds, and I didn't honestly coming into this, I didn't think it'd be this close. And they're looking at getting this FG. Hopefully, they can delay it out to become an EFG to make this sieging a little bit easier, because you know the respawn timers are making it slightly hard for them.
Well, they only have to wait 30 seconds until this becomes an enhanced fire time, but Goosedra still don't think they're really in a position to be able to defend these objectives, as... I mean, they're taking the farm that they can get off the map, and Protectors of Yggdrasil are already dewatering their side of the jungle. You know, someone has to be out there to defend the mid Phoenix. Giant now being started by Protectors of Yggdrasil. They only have 8 seconds to wait until there's an enhanced fire giant. They are slowly burning it. It is only half health at the moment, so it will turn enhanced just before they burn it. Yep. That is now an enhanced fire giant, just about on the mark to become an enhanced fire giant for Protectors of Yggdrasil, and now they are in a very big power play. If they weren't already in a power play before, this is definitely the opportune moment, and I'm sure there is no way that they can throw any Phoenix Seeders going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard for the carries of Goosedra to really be impactful as well. Hardly any percent pen between them. Just a dominance, really. I mean, Kakulin is going to have a field day diving
Well,
this
we're already seeing the effects of Merlin already hitting the level 16 support. That's not really something desirable that you want to see, but also Griffinizer getting slightly poked in the back, but he'll be fine. He'll just get sustained from Enhanced Fire Giant, so nothing too much of a worry. He's missing Megatron, but I'm more worried about the support. Like, still very low, but Busy just jumped on with the Unchained, already deleted in the back. Meanwhile, Ragnarok going on in the back, but there's an Envelope Dawn in the back, but Griffinizer already in the Whirlpool form. There's a Gamma Ray Burst. Big Ferguson having to use Beads and Aegis will just unfortunately fall in the back. The right Phoenix Walls. 2 members standing, Dracul and Gordon, just the front line. Slig, very low, will get shut down by Dracul, but still, there's still the damage dealer is alive on. Technically, until the time is getting lower and lower. There's a Defender Olympus coming out. Gordon trying to do damage. Griffinizer just burning through them, and that will be gain. Protectors of Yggdrasil 25-4.
I'm just so impressed, Laffy. Honestly, I weren't expecting such a dominant display, especially against a Goosedra team with like names who we've seen in GSL before do really well. I mean, Mystic Megatron, 2nd place in Season 1 of GSL. Gordon's always been rated as a decent player through the league as well, and honestly, as a team, they just seem to be struggling. Like, I don't know if it's a synergy issue, but, you know, they really need to improve in this game too.
Well, how would you want to see them improving into? Would you say they need to focus duo side more? Potentially? I mean, of course, it's very hard to say. We saw an immediate first blood in mid lane, and then we saw a solo kill, and then we saw a dual lane kill, just all across the board. And then at that point, it just became all 3 lanes for Protectors of Yggdrasil being dominant. Where do you go from there? How do you prevent such a strong snowball from there? Do you just try to hard focus one lane down as the jungler and then go from there, or what do you think needs changing for game 2?
Honestly, itemization wise, it seems like such a cliche thing to critique, but like both carries on the side of Goosedra really sort of not putting in as much damage as you'd want. That Kakulin was just running everything. He was just not dying. So yeah, I think a bit more percent pen would have really helped the backline. But yeah, I think we will be heading into game 2 pretty soon, right, Laffy?
Well, hopefully so, but more so, while we're waiting for that to happen, we could just stare at these stats. 9,000 player damage on Discordia actually being out damaged by their support. That's not something you really want to lovely see.
No, I mean, Discordia always gonna struggle this game. Not the best. And Fenrir can't really get away from Cucullin.
We
But
knew this Discordia was going to struggle. I pointed out since the draft that if you're not being careful with her just because of how erratic behavior is, you have to really play carefully with the stealth. You have to play around brutalize and using the stealth to get away from brutalize. But then if you're looking at Cacul and you're looking at Atlas running you down, you have to play that pick very, very safely. So to see it being picked fourth was a little bit of a worry, but if it was done well, I can understand that a very good Discordia can very much change the tide of a battle, but unfortunately, when you see a snowball like that, and especially when you're giving away first blood like the way you did, it's very, very unfortunate.
I think there were picks what were open. What I think do what Discordia was trying to do that game, but I think do it better into the gods which have been chosen. Like I think Scylla could have been great, like pretty good into Fenrir. Got that Sikkim, stop the brutalize, can just burst him, got that CC immunity, can just get away from the Fenrir, can get away from the Cucullin, and can also match. In fact, probably do more off the setup than Discordia from the Athena and before. I think I would have liked to seen that. I'm not sure if Fizzy's not comfortable on it, but I think there were much better picks open than the Discordia. I was also really impressed with Asher's Merlin actually, pumping out quite a bit of damage. I know he doesn't really usually play mid lane. He's normally a jungler, but I think he's transitioned really well. I think the standout for me was definitely Glig. I mean, the work he was putting in to get his team ahead, just allowing his team to do basically whatever they want. I think he's sort of the standout for me on Protected Yggdrasil. Looked very, very impressive.
Well, impressive is certainly one thing to say. Is that was actually Glig, actually their new pick, Protective Yggdrasil's new pickup, already showing to be a very strong and competent, good pickup for the team. And I think going forward for Protective Yggdrasil, I think they will really shine well with Glig.
Yeah, I think a big thing. Um, yeah, I think a big thing as well is like synergy Ash and Glig have. They spend a lot of time outside the game, like just speaking with each other. They'll queue rank together. It's nice. It's wholesome. GSL Friends League, if you will. But yeah, it's obviously paying off. Like they looked as a mid 3v3 as well. Even with Ludlow being a sub, I think their mid 3v3 was pretty great as well. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, very well done by Protective Yggdrasil, of course. Whenever you see 20k gold lead stomps like this, you'd expect there's just going to be a little bit of synergy differences between the teams, and seeing new pickups fine. It's always something good to see. But that's all we have to say, and so we'll see you guys when we're ready for game 2. Hello everyone and welcome back to Game 2. Protectors of Yggdrasil taking the first game by a complete landslide. I think was honestly quite surprising, but you know, things could still potentially change. Goosedra could potentially switch things up. Maybe they get a little bit of synergy online. Maybe they just fix a few things around here and there. Potentially they could walk away with this game too, you know? It could be a little bit of an upset. Protectors of Yggdrasil, as the first few bands are coming out, we're just seeing the same bands. Chiron, first band already. That's crazy.
This might be some LD tech that we just don't understand, Laffy. I don't understand it.
No, I mean, I understand. Chiron's a very good, strong pick right now, but just first banning him? I don't know. I don't know.
My only guess is that they're thinking, because Taka normally plays mid, they're assuming he's got a Chiron mid, so they're assuming he's going to look to play it in ADC. I might just be think he might be a bit uncomfortable. I like additionally, I've just seen as well, the Fenrir ban. I think that's a great ban, targeting what Blig was able to do last game.
Targeting what Glig was able to do last game, very, very strong in the Fenrir, but also, you know, taking away a viable jungle option. So I gotta understand it. I gotta give them respect to that. Take away one of the strong picks, and also take away something that's actually meta. Fair enough.
I think a bit Fenrir as well. Hot take, guys. I actually think Fenrir has some pretty good value in the support role again as well. I think like if you're picking Fenrir just because it's strong and it's not looking like it's sort of favourable into their backliners, there are times where you can just flex it support and it's still like fine. You're always still gonna have impact.
Well, that's not an unusual first pick. Cullen coming out as the first pick for Protectors of Yggdrasil. Well, yep, that's good Cullen lane for you. And you know what? If Poco did well in the Cullen, just give it to him again. No complaints there. As Goosedra now currently hovering Nike. Was this why it was banned in the second phase? Are we missing a Gordon Nike?
Powerful, honestly. Never really seen him play Nike, so it's going to be interesting as looks like Taka is maybe copying Griffnizer. Copying in my GSL set, I don't know. But one thing you can say is that the Charybdis looked very, very strong in that last game, and I think this game we're going to find out whether the god maybe is Sleeper or were Protectors of Yggdrasil just that strong game one. Going to be interesting to see.
Well, tales do always tell a different story, so potentially this Charybdis may not be very favorable to Protectors of Yggdrasil hovering Artemis. Some of a decent matchup into Charybdis. You know, you can get the Caledonian Boar off before she ends up being able to enter Whirlpool form, and that's quite a fair bit of CC and a little bit of damage. You can also get a trap off within that time, but Charybdis can also just get away from that trap because, well,
let the hunt begin.
Whirlpool form, funnily enough, not considered a movement ability, so she's able to freely cast that despite the traps. And Protectors of Yggdrasil also lock in Athena, taking it away from Goosedra, and well, potentially showing Goosedra how to really utilize Athena properly.
Yeah, and I think one thing I'm going to be interested in seeing is how the CC chains in the duo lane look, and how effectively Ludlow and Griffnizer will use the Taunt into the trap, for example. I mean, that could be very, very dangerous. As we see Ganesh hovered on the other side. Always going to be good into Kukulin, you know, because of the silence. And Athena, Ganesh is very good at locking Athena down if Athena's ever trying to dash out. So if Athena's ever caught out position and trying to get away with that dash, interrupting the charge up, they could maybe pick him out and or just force the ult away, which sort of limits how the Athena can play. But
well, with the snowball effect that we saw in game one, could there even potentially be a point where that Athena even is in danger against with the Ganesh there with the Ohm silencing for 2 seconds? Well, there even with how teamfights are just starting and beginning within not even less than 2 seconds, could we even see that potentially be in danger for the Athena?
Honestly, I mean, if the Leeds get to the point where they were, no, like honestly, not Laffy. I just think if ahead, this protected of Yggdrasil team, like Cullen, Artemis from ahead, Athena, as long as the Artemis is warding, it could just be curtains again. Like their team fight is already looking so much stronger, in my opinion.
Now, starting because both teams have not picked junglers. Junglers coming out and banned. Thor taken away from Mystic Megatron. Mystic Megatron did what he tried his best on the Thor. He got a Fire Giant Steel. He had positive neutral kills on his teams. So, and of course Thor still being a very strong pick. So, fair enough. I'd take that away from him. And also taking away Dodgy, a god that I haven't really been valuing or haven't really seen strong play currently in this meta.
It is time for some
Something that
fireworks!
I'm not really too sure about, well, on the side of Goosedra, Agni and Nisha, very respectable bands, and lock in Baba Yaga.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm protectors of Yggdrasil, I would maybe potentially look.
Ooh, a battle. This is exciting!
I've just realised actually, Laffy, Hebo has got through both games.
Yep.
Wow. That is something.
Granted, Goosedra couldn't really pick it up in Game 2 because, of course, they had the Fenrir pick, but they were liable to being able to pick it within the mid or the jungle this game. Still could pick it in the jungle this
And
game.
Quang as well.
In fact, both teams not having picked the jungler yet, jungler being picked last, could still go for either
Time
Outcome
to
or
eat.
Hebo. Protectors of Yggdrasil locking back a Sora.
Interesting. Not. Is it what I would have gone for? I think there's potential for.
And there it is.
Yeah, there it is. There's a Hebo.
But here's the thing, though.
The waters
Bakasura
rise.
has good enough lockdown that if this Hebo isn't ahead, Hebo could, despite Atlas of the Yellow River giving him the slow immunity, able to get him out of the back of the back of Cripple easily. This Bakasura could very well easily shut down this Hebo. So I can seeing the Bakasura pick. It's weird, but it does also kind of stop them from picking Hebo. But the Goosedra are just saying, well, screw it. Hebo's open. We're just gonna take it anyway. It's certainly going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I honestly think with how strong Protector Yggdrasil were, like game one, I think the comp they've gone for, it's not very ideal through the early game. I mean, neither is Yggdrasil's, like Artemis typically very late game, so is Scylla. I mean, your early game presence, Athena's got decent early game presence, and obviously Kukulin. And then Bakasura, once Bakasura hits 5, should be able to do a bit of work. But yeah, I honestly think if Protectors of Yggdrasil with that comp get off to the start they did, and get leads on them gods what can just go ridiculous late game, I think it's going to be such a tough battle for Goosedra.
I definitely think that the strongest points for Protected Yggdrasil certainly going to be that mid game, especially all three characters, even all three Artemis, Scylla, Bakasura, potentially even as soon as they hit level 5 can have an immediate power spike, very strong kill potential. But you do have to be a little bit wary, of course. I mean, Goosedra do also. Here's the thing for both teams. Protectors of Yggdrasil have a very strong late combo of having Scylla, Bakasura, and Artemis. Handing that alongside an Athena and Kukulin, who, well, they could just run rampant, but at the same time, you're also looking at a Charybdis, Baba Yaga, and a Hebo on the other side of Goosedra. Hebo late game being very, very menacing. A Baba Yaga late game pumping out so much damage from a distance, and then, well, we've already talked about Charybdis, potentially the best 1v1 ADC late game. Was like that for Season 9. Not really sure how she's done for Season 10, but I can't imagine it's not all too much different, and of course having the safety. And actually, Goosedra do have a really safe comp, so it could potentially actually be very anyone's game potentially late game. But I still think Protected of Yggdrasil do still have that ever so small slight advantage, and whether if they can get that snowball again, it's going to hit a lot more than it did last game.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the way they're playing as a team, Like they just seem to be so well synergized, and I'd honestly be surprised if with how they play around each other, I'd be really shocked if they are like sort of unable to sort of get the ball rolling fast. Um, Interesting art pickup from Artemis as well. Got the Aegis.
Aegis first relic. I mean, if you wanna Aegis a crushing wave, I can respect that. I mean, you still have beads for the form Caledonian Boar. You don't really need beads against well, I guess you wouldn't really need beads against the Ganesha either, but and potentially not even against the Mohungers, because of course who's getting hit by the Mohungers. You know, I can actually kind of respect that Aegis first pickup, but we'll just have to see how it really plays out, honestly.
For sure.
As well as this for just Bluestone, purely only Bluestone Rough Nike. Meanwhile, Poco going for the Sigil build this time around instead of the Bluestone, which is usually very commonly favored for Cullen. But you know, mitigation, we've seen a bit of a rise, and of course it is getting nerfed next patch as well, the mitigations build. Just purely building all of the mitigations item and just running around, being very, very tanky, and even being able to 1v4. It's very, very, very good build. And, well, we're already seeing scrapping as Gordon getting low and low and low in the solo lane, but from a cringe gank, but not dead. That's the key part, not dead. And now potentially Glig could lose out on a little bit of farm. Mystic Megatron going for the speed buff invade, which, well, Glig's only just heading to lane, so that could be very bad for XP side for Glig. May miss out on the level 3. Mystic Megatron looking for maybe a duo lane gank, but could struggle for that as, well, they already have the pressure in dual lane.
Yeah, I'm not I don't honestly think they fall for it. I mean, if he somehow I mean, he's just going away now. But the time they've actually stepped up, but even then, like, Griffinizer is, he's a healthy boy right now, so,
And look
yeah.
over in solo lane side as well. Look at the effect of the cringe gang. Gordon had pressure. What Poco had is because, and this is the real bad argument, unfortunately, because of how Vigil is as a starter, having no damage, only protections, and Bluestone, such a strong prevalent and very heavy pressure-orientated item, just with the tick damage alone. That cringe gank meant almost effectively nothing for the solo lane, and, well, everything is even for the side of Goosedra. There's no early current strong pressure for protectors of Yggdrasil. Very, very different pace of the game what we had for game 1.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing I've noticed as well with Goosedra's comp, they are sort of lacking on the engage side, in my opinion, compared to Goostra. I mean, their best engage is like Blink Nike ult, for example. And I think, or maybe a Dharmic Pillars, but I think with some of the members or gods picked on Yggdrasil, we're not really gonna get
Woodlow currently being the focus, taking a lot of damage just from remove obstacles and Ohm alone, but still tanky enough, a little bit more in the early games, still healthy enough to be able to stay. Does have Sentinel's Gift, so just through passive minion damage, minion kills, will be able to keep healthy and afloat. Griffinize is still full health, so still able to respectfully step up, you know, there's no presence of danger presence of the jungle. Hebo still only level 4. Actually, Glick, despite losing the speed buff invade, has caught up in XP. Still able to keep up with his Hebo, which is very good, but Hebo just ever so slightly ahead. Has just hit level 5. Meanwhile, Glick still currently just a little bit behind. Not too far behind, but just a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world for Glig, and once he gets 5, he's like some of the ganks he might be able to do might be very impactful. Nike, very safe god, might not be able to do much there, but maybe around mid with his Baba Yaga might be able to stick to her. A decent gun getting low here, Laffy.
But yep, speaking of that, Gordon taking a lot of damage, and that's the base damage of Kukulkan right there. Gordon forced to use the Sentinel Zeus, but Poco not really scared of damage, and here is Glick on the rotation. The barrier formation does keep Gordon alive for a little bit longer, but there's the Regurgitate, there's the transformation coming out from Poco, and that will be first blood for Protectors of Yggdrasil.
It's began, Laffy. Glig is about to go Bucco Fantastico. I'm calling it. Nothing is stopping him now. After how well he did game 1, I think it's really not ideal for him to get that first blood.
Well, I mean, despite the first blood advantage protecting the Yggdrasil on, really that much ahead. They're only currently 300, 400 gold ahead. So, actually just ever so slightly less than what the first blood gold actually provides. So it's not the worst kill against Goosedra. It's not the end of the world, really. They're still in a position where they are completely fine. Of course, you are mentioning Glig. Unfortunately, though, did not get the kill. Only got
He didn't. I'm trolling.
Poco got the kill, which is not the end of the world, but Glig, of course, did get that kill. That's very big potential spike for them, but, you know, still don't think you should really lose that much from that first blood.
Just had a fun little bit of info which chat might like from production. Griffinizer, bit of a menace on this Artemis, 10 stars.
Gordon, very, very low mana, caught out by Poco, but without the Spear of Mortal Pain available, already having previously used it, will not find the kill into Gordon. Now there's a mid 3v3, with these mids getting contested, and Bloodlow has stolen all of 3 of the mid camps with Confound. One of the lowest damaging abilities in the game, which got its nerfing scaling completely nerfed into the ground, stealing away all 3 mid camps. Unreal.
I mean, Hebo 1 is just terrible secure, honestly. Just awful. That is,
Oh yeah, Water Cannon? Oh yeah, that ability's on a 10-second cooldown. It does 700 damage, but 10-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I would never expect that to happen.
Yeah,
They
so
would have
true.
never secured that.
You know what? You right, bestie.
That's a real you right bestie moment.
That is you right, bestie. And while this blue buff invade is happening, I'd like to make a public service announcement for chat. Chat, do you like money? Well, I do. I'm gonna be interrupted. Laffy, go.
Well, there's a dueling guy. Griffinizer, unable to pull out the Aegis, unable to pull out the Caledonian Boar in time. There is the Rivers. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Dracul falling ever lower and lower. There was also I'm a Monster. There's Regurgitate. A Dark Pillar's trying to be used for peel, but just not there. Where is everything going? And there was even the more hungers. I didn't even mention the more hungers because the crashing waves coming down from this Hebo, taking away Griffinizer just before you could even use Aegis, before the Caledonian Ball. 2-1 to protect the Yggdrasil, but Goosedra with 1 kill on the board. And towards the jungler, Mystic Megatron now having the full Doom Orb on Hebo. Doom Orb? Where's Book of Toph? Doom Orb Hebo is a start that we haven't seen on magical junglers for a good long while now, especially ever since Book of Toph has been buffed. What's happening?
I'm gonna
here?
ask you, Laffy, what is he cooking?
How am I supposed to know what he's cooking as we have to hold that. There's a dual lane gang. The Defender of Olympus used on the Glig. Takane, though, being Charybdis. Whirlpool form. And there is no danger for the dual lane. And there is and now, as I'm talking about the Doom Orb on Hebo, there's an there is a Devourer's Gauntlet on this Artemis.
Oh?
Are we in Season 8?
I think we've time traveled, Laffy. This is incredible. Artemis Charybdis is a Season 8 lane as well. Artemis with bow build, do you remember that?
Oh my, do I.
That was powerful when that was a thing.
You know, I'm just a little worried. Why these are not Season 8 things I just would not expect within the first month of Season 10. All these know stuff that we don't.
I think we just let them cook, honestly. I think we let them cook and maybe we can get some inspiration. It's interesting, Taka actually on the Charybdis, it's a bit of a flip, Taka on Charybdis, the one with the lead. actually.
And
Maybe
we did
Charybdis.
see a dueling gank on this Charybdis, and well, nothing came out of it because of Whirlpool form. Just able to use Whirlpool form, get back into the tower, no problems. Charybdis may be a priority pick, maybe a sleeper pick, maybe an actually good physical hunter. Potentially.
I need to get Q in the rank queues. I'm playing ADC every game.
But we're gonna have to hold that fort. It's busy, but Fluff caught out, trying to use the blast off to get away, but the cripple from Regurgitate will prevent that, and that I'm a Monster will be used to secure that, as the Dark Pill is trying to use Repeal, but it's already too late. Very, very quickly blown up, especially with the poor house also not able to be used.
Ooh.
Takane getting a little bit aggressive, tries to use the Mohongers, but does not connect. But there, it's a blink ult from Mystic Megatron. Crashing Maze, Griffinizer does get the Aegis off, but still able to go. But Mystic Megatron's getting traded by the tower. Griffinizer will get a return kill for that, despite all of the efforts of trying to stay alive.
Not worth it for me, Laffy. I think Mystic, in my opinion, on Hebo is their win con. Looked very strong last game.
Get presence on the back of Sora, taking a lot of damage from this dual lane. We'll just have to retreat for now. Poco getting pushed by Gordon under the tower, getting those contagion procs. Hey, contagion! Oh right, that item isn't banned anymore because it's been fixed and almost effectively nerfed into the ground. But still, strong item.
Silly boy. Gordon, catch my hands, bro.
Gordon just taking... Well, Contagion's still a strong prevalent item, still taking quite a bit of damage from it. So we're just back in an ADC 1v1, and Takane on the Charybdis actually very heavily winning this 1v1. Asi versus Devos. You don't really like to see it.
Honestly, I'm gonna say Charybdis is about as sleeper as Rajan. Oh!
But in the solo lane, there's
Oh
a
my-
Regurgitate, there's a Defender of Olympus. Bloodlow gets the kill on the Gordon. That's a lot committed onto a solo lane, and also potentially going to get a blue buff invade out of this as well. Blue buff is just spawning to any members of Protective Yggdrasil, so recognize that. Yes, they do. Galik has seen it, but Mystic Megatron is on the rise. Poco only having a quarter of his health. They will get the blue buff away, but potentially Mystic Megatron looking for that chase. But Confound coming in clutch will keep Mystic Megatron away from Poco.
That's a
That
great song.
is a worthy kill for Protective Yggdrasil. 5-2. Slowly seeing the snowball effect.
Yeah, I think honestly it's beginning. It is beginning. 2k gold lead. I think honestly, Protectors of Yggdrasil at this point should be starting to look at Gold Fury or maybe Pyromancer coming up. They've got good burn having the Baxura and the Artemis, and great secure with the Scylla. I'm not overly keen on the Polynomicon second item though by Mr. Ghost Rider. I think he's cooked and he's burnt with his build.
What? Nah, Polly is still.
Nah.
You can rush Polly, it's fine. I mean, of course, sure, you need Divine Ruby. You can get Divine Ruby. It's fine. Let him be.
Just have him kill him. Purely.
Well, I mean, you can't talk about one with no flat pen. We're going Golden Blade straight into Hasten Katana.
True, that is powerful, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it honestly. Like, assassins as a class do get flat pen, and like he wants to stick to people. That's fine. Like, I'll allow it.
Well, Griffinizer potentially getting 3 more and Tater onto the purple though, but Trans gets his fate. Will stop from that Gridestra from pushing. Griffinizer will low mana, will respect, but well, nope, choosing to stay, just walking back to the lane, does not want to miss any XP, as, well, Takane is still ever so slightly ahead, so want to make sure you don't miss any, definitely don't want to miss any XP there.
Glig may be looking at Pyro. He's stood under it.
I think he wanted to return to base, and still wants to return to base, but maybe now could potentially look for kill too. Poco is here for a rotation. There could very well be a mid collapse here, but Poco now also having to opting for Blink this time instead of the beads, does recognize that well, there's no Athena. Athena's on his team. So he doesn't really have anything to currently be scared of for late game engagement, so can safely opt for a Blink ult. That's very good for that's very great for the engagements for his team now. So they won't be relying on preemptive strike and confound combo. They can just go for a Blink Mortal Pain, Spear of Mortal Pain into the confound or anything else of the other sort.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like this tier 1 tower's gonna go down as well. Taka trying to get it, but Griffinizer defending it as well as he can. Looks like a 1v1's going down here. Oh, backing off.
And, well, Takane has the advantage. This is the Rage. Already having the crit online with Rage, just such a strong item, able to just outtrade anything. But you know what? Takane wrecked, able with the wards, able to see that, hey, well, there's an Athena and a Bakasura here, so I'm just going to use Whirlpool form, I'm just going to back away to my tower. Griffinizer can have the pressure for now, and there's potentially a little bit of a scrap in the jungle, but, you know, I'm fine, I've used my escape, I'm safe, I'm Charybdis, I can let him have pressure for now, but I know that I can win the trades because I have a Rage, and currently on Griffinizer, no crit to be seen at the moment. Is building into it, whether that's a Demon Blade, a Rage, actually a Rage itself, or potentially even, if potentially very ballsy, a Deathbringer, but very likely either just a Demon Blade or a Rage. And as we saw, Bloodload there going in for a little bit of a taunt, but not much really to be seen there as Griffinizer was backing off. A little bit of a contesting for a shield buff, but there's also a little bit of contesting, a little bit of damage checking for a Pyromancer, but nothing able to be confirmed yet outside of the shield buff. Glick jumping in here, potentially looking for Gordon, but not able to find anything on the mark currently.
No, looks like teams are favouring grouping towards Gold Fury now. You've got Hebo hovering over towards the left side of the map. I just think that, I mean, Goosedra caught up a bit, like, I think reduced the lead to, Protective Yggdrasil lead to about 1,500. So it's not the worst, but I think, you know, time is ticking on this, Protective Yggdrasil backline.
Time is indeed ticking, but as well as that, the clock continues to tick. How long is it until we'll see an engagement that will just break down everything? How long is it until we finally start to see fighting and centralizing around objectives as well? Well, speaking of centralizing around objectives, Protectors of Yggdrasil have especially Puko have recognized that Gordon have backed. Him and Glig have started up the Pyromancer, but Goosedra very well aware of it, using the home sweet home to get them away from the objective. Gordon having teleported back in very late, but still there, able to show up and, well, prevented Protectors of Yggdrasil from going for a Pyromancer.
Yeah, interesting. Ghost Rider is out farming on the tower. Just not a lot's really happening. I don't think any team are really looking to make a play to sort of push for an objective, which I think honestly it's still just suiting Protector Yggdrasil.
Well, I think right now Goosedra are in a very good position with Griffinizer having just backed. With Glig currently on the right side of the map, they could look for a Gold Fury right now, and that's exactly the notion they are making. Goosedra, all 4 members, straight to that Gold Fury, but Yggdrasil are on the look. They are aware now that this is happening. Ludlow is walking up. Protectors of Yggdrasil have stolen the Gold Fury by the monster. Jackal has been picked up in the back. The Dark Pillars was used very unfortunately, did not center on the Gold Fury properly, and that is just not how you secure an objective. That goes in the way of Protectors of Yggdrasil. 1 kill, 1 Gold Fury, now 3,000 gold, and Protectors of Yggdrasil are going straight over to the Pyromancer and taking it away immediately, knowing they have the advantage.
You know what? Hats off to Ash and Ludlow there. Very not favouring them at all, honestly. That Pyro or that FG words Gold Fury getting pretty low, and it was just the 2 of them. Gordon going down. I mean, fair play, really good play, managing to steal it away and getting the fight to be favourable. And that 1.5k gold lead I was on about has now suddenly just doubled into a 3k gold lead. So yeah, rough.
Well, the time bomb has, well, I think that was a good call. I think Goosedra, I was just getting into this game that I was like, well, the situation, you can go for an objective. They went for the objective, they just did not have the means to secure it or prevent Protectors of Yggdrasil from stealing it from them, whether it be recognizing that, hey, well, Athena's just coming from behind and taunted one of the members, why don't we just back off of it and try to let them take the center stage or potentially look to engage on someone, or just, well, missing a little bit of the mark with, say, a Ganesha or anything else to just secure that goal period. I mean, we even saw the Mohungas come out from Takane, but it was already just way too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not ideal. Goosedra, I just think they're struggling really with how they want to play fights, like what they want to do, how they want to fight, how to fight. Like there's been flashes of individual good moments, especially from Mystic, but like team fights and just around objectives, they really just seem to crumble. I mean, last game as well, they went for a Gold Fury call and it just ended up favoring Protector the Yggdrasil. Like,
Mystic Megatron forced to use Crashing Waves to get away from the confound there from Bloodlow. That's, I think Protectors of Yggdrasil are starting to be very heavily respected. Just using a very powerful, I mean, level 18 Hebo, and you're using Crashing Wave to get away from an Athena's Horn. That's crazy. That's actually insane. And then as good after all this, there goes the Bleak Sphere of Mortal Pain talking about as we were going in. As you now currently zoned out. There's the home sweet home. Dharmic Pillars is Griffinizer, but Dracul already low has dropped down. Ghost Rider dashing in. I'm a Monster already used, but everything has been burned up. Takane just off the mark of being hit by a crush as it keeps him alive. And that's a mid-tier 1 for Protectors of Yggdrasil and 1 kill. 8-2.
yeah, it's a great engagement there from Pucko. It just starts to fly off well. I mean, 17k damage on Pucko. This guy could be a future voice crack, MD Prodigy. This MD Prodigy. Yeah, he's looking very impressive this game.
Well, Goosedra with a little bit of a mitigation does get the right tier 1 tower. So, you have to just... I don't want to be coping, but just a little bit of recuperation is always the best. Goosedra still aren't really out of it yet. They're only still 3 to 2k behind. It's not the end of the world. Goosedra still has potential to be within this. As Protectors of Yggdrasil currently starting this goal for you. 2 members. Gordon has just teleported in on the back. Does get Griffinizer away. There's a Dharmic Pillars keeping Bloodlow away. And now Goosedra in a position in a Noom. And with the numbers advantage, you can start this Gold Fury. Gold Fury is at heart. But here's a Berserk Pucko teleporting in. But now has de-transformed. But there's Glick with a regurgitation on the back. Currently though, using Woeful Form. Doesn't keep safe. And there's the Mohungers, there's the I'm a Monster, but just off the mark. But Pucko with the Sphere of Mortal Pain, able to just go in and go in. Mystic Megatron though, finding Glig in the back. Griffinizer gets Glory. There's the Crushing Waves, but Ghost Rider will use the Aegis in response. Unfortunately, does not connect the second. Will have to dash away. And that is a 3 for 2 trade, but could potentially be a 3 for 3 trade. It's Mystic Megatron, still full health, still looking for more. Griffinizer potentially out of position, or even Pucko. Still only half health. Ghost Rider still lurking though. There's a Blake from Mystic Megatron. Misses the water spout. Very, very, very unfortunate. That does mean he drops the kill. But it also means that Protectors of Yggdrasil don't get anything. But that does leave Protectors of Yggdrasil still in the advantage. It's a 3 for 2. Not
Yeah, I
good
mean,
for
it wasn't
Goosedra, but
worse.
still not bad. That as much as it may be a disadvantage for Goosedra losing 3 members, still trading 2 of them still keeps them right where they want to be. Really, they're not in the snowball, but they still have the potential. They still are in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing with that fight is that I think Glig needed to wait a bit more for Pucko to go in. Just like I think when Glig leapt in, he was sort of who everyone just turned to immediately. I think if like Cullen if he just waits a bit, I think it's more favorable.
Back to the Gold Fury as protectors of Yggdrasil have started up this Gold Fury. Ghost Rider, not realizing that protectors of Yggdrasil did not want to commit to Gold Fury anymore, drops I'm a Monster. That's not really looking good. There's the Diamond Pillars coming out. Protectors of Yggdrasil will secure that Gold Fury, and now without the Diamond Pillars, potentially there's danger at the back. War Hungers on Takane will come out, does a lot of damage. Bloodlow able to just try to do damage, but there's Glig in the back. He's low. Mystic Megatron will pick up the kill. Takane is still alive. He was burning both of the relics, but Coco will eventually grab the kill. Meanwhile, Bloodlow has already fallen in the back. Mystic Megatron, good crushing rage, does quite a bit of damage. Does take damage in return, but still alive. More members of Goosedra still standing. Some of them still healthy. Meanwhile, two almost low health members against Protectors of Yggdrasil, 2 down, and that's what I mean. Goosedra have now picked up 2 kills for 1, and Goosedra still, well, they're still behind, but they're still in the game. It's not completely out for them yet.
Still in the game, but the lead increase gold-wise did go up by about a K, which is, you know, never ideal.
But of course, I mean, being 4,000 gold down instead of 3,000 gold, that's not really desirable, but, you know, Protectors of Goosedra are still getting those picks where they need, and those picks are still valuable because, well, of the net worth that Protectors of Yggdrasil have, and
pause.
As we've come into a pause, as Goosedra were starting up that Pyromancer, but Protectors of Yggdrasil are aware of that Pyromancer start. But will they be able to get Goosedra off of the Pyromancer?
Who knows? But while we wait, quick public service announcement, guys. I like money, okay, but do you like money?
Well, hey, you're not getting any of that money.
Here is the good thing, okay, guys. Have you heard that if you subscribe with Prime, it's completely free? It's completely free. You do not have to spend any money to subscribe.
You've been farmed.
It all in his bank account.
You've been farmed.
You just get so much money. So just sub with Prime, okay? Ask for your mum and dad's Prime. You know, anything really, but you know, you're just getting your money up. So yeah.
My mummy up?
Your mummy up, yeah. So, you know, just sub.
How? Hello? How do I call now? Huh? What?
Sub with Prime.
Uh-oh. I should not be down bad live on cast. Quick clown music.
Clown music fast.
I don't have any.
Whopper, 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 junior, double, triple, whopper. Battery swap. That's what. Yeah, controller
Glig
player.
Controller. Oh, Glig controller ran out of battery. Player? What do you mean?
Glig?
You didn't know Glig was a controller player?
Mr. Pants, if you have Amazon Prime, you could be subbed. Think about that. Sub with Prime. Any... Oh, they're unpausing, but quickly, any gifters.
Congratulations, Matt. You made the worst Be Right Back break ever. That it took so long for you to say any primers that they were able to get controller batteries and unpause the game in time. Goosedra got that Pyromancer. That's crazy.
That is pretty incredible. Looks like teams are just looking at trying to group up for FG now, establish ward control around the general area. I think so far, actually, looking at the map, I think Goosedra actually have more wards around the area. D-warding in the Fire Giant Pit are Protectors of Yggdrasil. I am being Chair 1 right now. Laffy, go speak.
Meow! Meow!
Jesus Christ.
Hey, how'd you like that taste of Chair 1 though? Surely that was good.
Oh, it was powerful. I I just felt like the world was my oyster.
Yeah? Do you want to do it more?
No. I'd go on
Okay.
too
You
many
want to go back to
tangents.
meowing?
No meowing. No meowing
What-
as a tier 1 tower is about to go down. This is powerful.
What do you, what? You don't want to meow anymore? Come on, man.
No meowing. We've
Well,
set chat.
I thought we had that as a bit.
It's a bit. Okay. He is taking no damage. That is pretty meow if you ask me.
Hey, look, mitigations build. Wow, Pucko is taking just no damage because Sigil of the Old Guard. Very cool item. 17% mitigation. And now they can just take the advantage. There's the Caledonia Ball, there's the Spear of Mortal Pain. There's the Darn Pillars out trying to CC Pucko. Mystic Megatron already using bees. Caledonian Sports just spreading to everyone and Pucko just giving chase. There's the Warcry. There's the House Home Sweet Home Mystic Buffy. Oh, get out with the send-off. Kane has been blown up in the back, but Mystic Megatron not finding any targets, but getting Ghost Rider out of the fight. Glade goes in for a Blink Regurgitation. There's the Aegis from Fizzy, but there's going to need some peel for that. And there's a Water Spout, but there's a Defender of Olympus to come out. And now, with the Confound, Draco potentially being looked at, but Gordon has already teleported back in. Picks Ghost Rider off in the back. Beads being used. Mystic Megatron and Draco currently looking to fight against Ludlow. Glig, however, now trying to look at Gordon, out of position. No Hero's Leap available, so will slowly fall, but just making Glig miss with the katana, but Griffinizer will pick up the kill. It's a 2-for-1. There's nothing that can be done on either side. The tier 1 right tower fell, but that's just how things goes off. That's just how the cookie crumbles. If there even is a cookie.
I love
Can I have a
that
cookie?
phrase. I love that phrase. Is incredible. It makes me so happy.
Can I have a cookie?
Can you have a cookie? I don't know. You can't eat during cast, buddy.
What?
It's against the rules.
What? I don't remember that being a rule. I ate on cast. I want a cookie.
I don't know. I'd ask the league owner, but he's.
I will start
snoozing.
abrasively meowing if I don't get a cookie. And then Laffy's violence list will be made.
Ooh, that is powerful. The violence list.
Violence list.
Surely Sped goes on there, right?
Maybe. Why Sped particularly?
I don't know. He's just got a threat. He's just got a threatening aura. Okay, guys, Twitch chat. Did you know that Sped owns a tennis court?
Holy moly, the Sped tennis court. Where do we even begin?
Can we please get the GSL tennis championships on Sped's tennis court?
He needs to clean it. He doesn't clean it. Can you believe this man owns a tennis court? He does not take care of it.
Look, if I had a tennis court, I would take so much pride in it. This guy's just letting his tennis court rot. He has no respect for the game.
I bet it would be a very lovely tennis court if he kept it in good condition. Well,
Yeah.
thanks to the Yggdrasil just taking a sneaky fire giant. Yeah, they took a fire giant, guys, not a pyromancer. Pyromancer. Sorry.
Wrong one, you silly man. Honestly.
Silly. Whee!
Silly! Yo, Glig looking for the flank. This could be powerful. Pucko stepping
He does
up
have
well.
the blink
He might
available.
have
All ultimates are available. Pucko currently on the back, getting blown up. Lost all his health. Gordon in the back using the Sentinel of Zeus. There is the Dark Pillars. The monster just off the mark. Pucko now in berserk form, but taking damage from the home sweet home. Has to dash out, has to shout. Drackle being blown up in the back, and Bloodload potentially looking for engages as there's a confound. Does get Fizzy Bees, and there is a Blink Regurgitate from Glig, but there is also a Crushing Wave, but now Mystic Megatron using that Crushing Wave is out of position, will be picked up. Now teleporting back in already is Gordon as Bloodlow. He's just looking to start that fire giant. Pucko is teleporting back in. Glig, respecting how low he is, will back away. There's no one from Goosedra currently available to stop them really from engaging on this fire giant. As Glig, well, being in camp, already going back in on the fire giant. Everyone is backing away from the fire giant as Ghost Rider picks up Fizzy in the back, and Gordon now forced to use the Valiant Leap away as technically Yggdrasil starting with the fire giant, but Glig on! With the Defender of Olympus, Glig able to survive a fire giant bomb and protected the Yggdrasil. get the Fire Giant. Gordon now being blown up. There's a Sentinel of Zeus. Will keep him alive just ever so slightly longer, but will fall down to Griffinizer. That was terrifying for Glig.
I almost had a heart attack watching that rock fly at that man. Honestly, Athena might have saved him, you know?
No, it did. It did. It 100% did. That 35% mitigation is 100% saving for the Fire Giant Rock. He would have died otherwise. That was so clutch.
Oof, what a lucky man.
Wow. That was a very, very terrifying moment. And if that Fire Giant had actually killed Glig, that would have been... I don't even know. I don't even know.
In fact, chat, clip that. That is a clip moment, chat. You best have clipped.
What are you, a Twitch streamer? Jesus Christ, you're a caster. You're still...
Think of the content in the GSL Discord that can arise from that.
So yeah, Gold Fury now. And you know what? We didn't even point out. This is an enhanced Fire Giant. Thanks to Yggdrasil walks away with an enhanced Fire Giant. They can just, well, snowball again. We're in the snowball effect. They are 14,000 gold down. Now, Protected Yggdrasil potentially running down the left side hand of the map. Whether they just go for all the towers, but I think Protected Yggdrasil are in a very safe spot to go for a Phoenix Siege. With what they have available, they do have a Blink ult from Pucko. He is in enough rage to be able to take a transformation and just go for a complete full disruption. And I think that's what they're going to be looking for, as it is a 4-to-1 split currently. But no, Protectors of Yggdrasil are making calls now to go for that tier 1 to tier 2 tower in mid, as potentially Goosedra trying to take some poke out, but Pucko showing face and making sure they're aware that he's there. Keeping them at the bay of the Phoenix.
I don't know about you, Laffy, but it looks like they want the entry to that door warded with the free.
And they will get it as their goals falling lower and lower, but does not die. The Diamond Pillars and the Shell keeping him alive. Now the Sweet Home because he's doing a lot of poke onto Bloodlow there, but Bloodlow does have the Defender of Olympus available, so not too worrying. Pucko can still stick around, still very healthy, but so are now Dracul coming out of Fountain, now very healthy. And there goes a Blink! Tried from Pucko, trying to get an engagement, but denied by the Ohm. But there's the Xena keeping the peel with the compound, and now using Sphere of Mortal Pain. But Pucko will fall. Takane taking him down, but so will the mid Phoenix for Goosedra. There's also in the back, Glig taken out by Mystic Megatron. And now, Mystic Megatron going in for a Blink Water Spout, but Ghost Rider able to blow him up before that even happens. Gordon in the back with the teleport, able to get onto Griffinizer. That's now a shutdown for Griffinizer. Ghost Rider! But still a crush change means that Busy dies to Ghost Rider, standing on the crush. Flood below, the only member remaining, will fall down to Takane. They have successfully defended the left Phoenix, and that is a deicide for Goosedra.
I mean, that's a big deicide for Goosedra. Still lost for tier 1. And fair play, I've got to give big credit to Ghost Rider. Huge individual moment on Basilla. Sort of limiting how many of them are alive and what they could really do. I mean, Fire Giant's coming up.
Is that even a worthy thing? Because, you know, Stilla being able to pop her crush after death, yeah? So, how need a change that was like 3 seasons ago?
Guys,
yeah, cool.
Laffy, you're just a hater. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, because it should never have been a thing in the first place. It's silly.
Hey,
it dumbs down characters, and it makes things like that allow to happen, where he can die, but he still takes someone with him because it's still as damage. Goosedra have started up a Fire Giant, however, Pucko is on the engage. There's a Sphere of Mortal Pain, but Goosedra, are they really scared of it as fuck? There's Blink now going in. Blink taking a lot of damage. Mystic Megatron. Goosedra. Mystic Megatron secures the Fire Giant for Goosedra. That is an enhanced Fire Giant for them, but there's no deaths from Goosedra. And Goosedra able to get out alive, but Mystic Megatron just costing his life. There's an I'm a Monster, but Griffinizer able to pick up the kill. And now, also with Takane falling, now not a very good spot for Goosedra. Despite having the enhanced Fire Giant, busy using the home sweet home, try to dish out some damage, but not throwing, not really hitting any targets at all. Protectors of Yggdrasil could end here. I think that's the call they are potentially looking for, but Gordon trying to zone Ghost Rider will be looked at by the rest of the team, but first get him using the Sentinel away, but Glig able to, and Ghost Rider both with the crush able to blow him up. There goes Ghost, and Ghost Rider has just walked into the Dharmic Pillars and killed himself.
Incredible.
But meanwhile, that is a wipe for Protectors of Yggdrasil, and that will be Titan, and that is game 2 for Protectors of Yggdrasil.
That was an emotional roller coaster. But Laffy, do you want to know why Protectors of Yggdrasil won?
Because they were the better players, of course.
Because they subbed with Prime. Guys, if you want to win your next GSL set, just sub with Prime. It gives you the power, the printer's bias points. Just sub with Prime. Come on, guys.
Actually, you know what? I think it was the Albi diff. You know, I think Albi may have snuck in a Bing chilling, and that's why Protectors of Yggdrasil coming out absolutely on time, on top, on strong. Now look at them. They get to sit there, second place temporarily until King Kai's play their game, and I'm sure King Kai's will absolutely wipe the floor. So you know, reap what you sow.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. That is a lot of damage from Ghost Rider. I am genuinely so impressed with how he played in mid today. Like
Yeah. Who are you giving MVP? Is that your MVP, Mr. Ghost Rider?
I think I have to give it to Pucko for game 2.
Oh.
I think some of his engagements were just way too valuable. I mean, 39k on the Cucullin. A bit lethal, if you will.
Yeah, I mean well, the whole reason why Hi-Rez is nerfing it, the mitigations build, just hey, I'll just do the engagements, soak up all the damage, and because of warrior-based damage, I'll still do the damage that I really need to. I'll just be a major disruption. I'll be a major start for team fights. What more can you want, really?
Yeah, I mean, great win, honestly, for Protector Yggdrasil. Looking strong, looking like a contender, honestly, in my opinion. If they're able to just play like that with each other, like against top teams, I think, why won't they be able to? Like they've beaten like a team with pretty good players on it. Like Taka, decent mid laner when he plays. Like Gordon, like a player you could argue is MD, and Mystic, who obviously earlier, as I said, finished second in season 1 of GSL. So yeah, I mean it's very promising. I think Glig has just been such a good addition to his team as well. Didn't have the best of games. Same with Pucko as well. I don't think Glig had the best of games, game 2, but you can tell they look so much better. And Ludlow, free agent, I think teams, some of the LD teams ought to have an eye on him. I think he had a pretty good performance over both games. And honestly, I think he synergized with that team very well, to say he's subbing in.
Yeah, very, very strong dominant performance for Protectors of Yggdrasil. I certainly think that going into this Protectors of Yggdrasil, we're only 1 week away now from, well, starting the finals for the lower division. So now seeing how Glig with Glig being a new pickup, being a very strong, doing so very well throughout both games and throughout the whole set. Protectors of Yggdrasil looking out to make themselves to be potentially a very strong team. It could very well sweep the finals, but you still have to look at other teams. Of course, you still have Redemption and you still have King Kai's. So whether that will be reflected within the finals, who knows? But very, very well dominant, very big performance and dominant from Protectors of Yggdrasil, but very well played by both teams, especially Goosedra within the second game, able to try and just, despite what happened within game 1. Game 1, very big snowball. Game 2, they able to just ever so much constantly keep themselves within the game. They weren't just there for They weren't there for game 1, but for game 2, they were able to just keep themselves in the game and keep themselves not entirely out of it, but still had the comeback potential. Very well done.
For sure. Sure. Are we doing any interviews? Interview moment?
Well, unfortunately, there aren't any interviews, but
No
this
interviews.
will be this very good 2-0 for Protectors of Yggdrasil. That will put them in. Oh, Glig.
Interview moment?
May have to hold my words with Glig coming in. Maybe. You're moving him. He's here.
Here, the man of the moment.
Hello.
How are you,
Glig?
Glig?
Having just won this new set.
Yeah, it was a good set.
Yeah, very impressive game 1. As I'm aware, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you started the season with this team, did you?
Nope. First game.
How's it feel now you've moved on to this team? Playing with them, like how's the energy been, and how do you think you've changed this team?
How do I think I've changed? I probably made them play a bit more aggressive, I guess. But they've been doing good shot calling, I think, and just kind of, I don't know. I was trying to find out where I fit in, trying to play around them a bit.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
fair
and I
answer.
mean, with Ghostwriter, of course, you are already very big friends with Ash, so I imagine some of that synergy already is kind of there. So it kind of makes sense that you'd be performing very well for this team.
Yeah, I didn't know any of the other people really, so just trying to learn how to play with them, I guess.
Yeah, I think honestly though, as a team, you guys looked like your synergy looked really well. Your play around objectives, like there was a moment where I think it was just Ludlow and Ash what stepped up towards Gold Fury, just them two. They'd burn it to about 75% and they managed to steal it and win the fight from it. Like really good plays like that. Honestly, as well, I'm shocked at how well Ash has done in mid lane. Like, how's it feel to play around Ash, and how well do you think he's adapted to the role?
I think he's much more comfortable in mid than he was in jungle. To be honest, he just fits it a lot better. He's hitting his stuff. He's just hitting what he needs to. He's doing what he needs to do.
He really came up big towards the end moments of that that game too. But yeah, I think coming in towards, I do believe it's getting towards the end of the LD regular season. What are your team's aims towards the final end of the season? What are you looking to improve on, and how do you think a rough idea of what you're looking to just improve on? Question did dwindle out at the end, but yeah.
Probably synergy, the main thing.
Yeah.
There was a few times there where, I mean, for one, we pulled a Gold Fury, and then Ash altered, and we dropped the Gold Fury. He was ulting to secure, but no one really communicated that. And there were a few other fights that weren't communicated greatly. So communication, synergy, probably. Just getting to play with each other more.
Yeah, I think you've got a great foundation, though, and I'm sure I can speak on Laffy's behalf as well. We'll be excited to watching you in the coming weeks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's here now, man of the moment, Mr. Scylla Monster.
Hello. I was downstairs.
Why haven't you been playing mid this entire time?
Because I don't usually play mid in a comp setting, so I haven't been.
It's
for the last
powerful,
2
bro.
seasons.
You've been popping off.
Good shit. Yeah, but I don't know how well it would do against like Altzu's team on things. I don't know. I feel like my positioning could get better.
Well, it's just one thing you'll have to go into considering into finals. It's just practice it up really, and as course as Glig mentioned, you guys just a little bit work on the communications, and I'm sure, of course, there will always be things to improve on. But
yeah,
of course, it's a little bit difficult to, of course, predetermine things because you're in the middle of the pack and you're going against, well, unfortunately, not one of the strongest teams in the standings, but
I mean, they had
still
the
something
same.
to take away.
They had the exact same stat lines as my team, so it felt pretty even, like going in. They don't anymore, but they did going in.
No,
Did they not?
you guys were 2-1. I don't think they've got a single win.
Who the fuck points were I looking for?
Language, Ash, we're live.
Yeah, I know
Ash.
we're live. Shush.
What? Laughing? Points distribution?
Go on, give me points. No, I'm joking.
What?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
an
know
admittance live on that.
I don't
That's
know.
it.
Shut up, dude.
I can't
I
stop
don't-
my
Guys,
fingers, God.
GSL's getting shut down.
Oh
Done.
fuck! I'm done for.
Can we get some toxic riders in chat?
Yo, I'm nothing if not toxic. But no, I think game one was both games were down to Puko being a fucking menace. Yeah, Puko's just a menace to society if you let him run free. And we tried a cringe gank at Hunter, get the hell out of the chat with the Dick Rider comment. I will kill you.
Oh, that's an IRL chat on stream.
Whoa.
This is
Death Threats
becoming
live on
really
stream. Let's go.
problematic. Guys, can we just have a wholesome time?
Ash, try not to curse challenge.
Great
Yeah, I don't
Fenrir,
think
Glig.
I can.
Awesome Fenrir. Awesome gaming.
Yeah, Fenrir game one was pretty amazing. I'm trying not to swear here. Puko
Yeah,
game
try not
two.
any death red side.
I'm just a bit quirky, dude. It's fine.
Yeah, you're
little bit
not like the other
silly.
boys.
Yeah. I took
Worked up
Well,
white boy.
after no god, that's cringe. At the end of sort of game two, I sort of took a book out of blank Tsukuyomi's book and started Scylla dashing into people, and just trying to one shot people, which did sometimes work. So props to him for inting in season one, so that I can in season three.
Thank you, Blank Tsukuyomi. Wait, so you're
Doing
saying
God's
that
work
without
out there.
Blank Tsukuyomi, you wouldn't be the prosperous GSL mid lane prodigy you are today?
No, I actually think he put me back a few seasons. Like, if
Yeah,
anything, he
true.
held me back.
I don't know, you did have DX Speddy on your team though, and that guy, oh well.
And we lost.
I'm telling you, he got farmed.
He
And ever since-
farmed.
Ever since then, he's only been farmed. Like,
Farmed.
he only gets farmed.
It's the Protectors of Yggdrasil effect. You either go up a division or you just get farmed every game. Like, there's no between. And it looks like this season we're going up. We're having a good season.
From
Mate, shush.
from
I'm going to. I'm
from
stomping.
being
King.
the middle of the pack to going straight to the bottom, back to on top again. It is a protective Yggdrasil season for real.
Honestly,
they did beat my team in season one, but my
it is
team
the
did
most
something.
Protectors of Yggdrasil thing.
Yeah, we did. No, we did lost. No, we lost. No, we lost.
Hey,
Hunter. All
hey,
I'm
Matt.
saying is, I'm bringing back the meme that Protectors of Yggdrasil is Kinsey's kryptonite. We're bringing it back.
All I want to say is that right now you sound schizophrenic by continuing to say no, I'm not.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do a bit.
because Mr. Production over here
Yeah,
is
guys, can we
muted.
wrap this up? I want to rewatch the games.
Yeah, yeah.
This is dragging on. Can we wrap it up so I can rewatch the stream and the
It's
games?
okay, because Glig survived the fire giant with an Athena
Okay, I'm
roll.
leaving.
Okay,
Fine,
guys,
post
final goodbye message. Get using those primes. Think of the
Oh.
money you will gain.
Get
It's
this
free
guy
money.
out of here. Thank you everyone
It's
for
free
watching.
money.
We'll see you in the next cast. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Meow.
Meow.
You sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's so fun and games until it doesn't toss me out. I'll hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade out. Hop up in the window. Yeah. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, watch me levitate. Try to paint me like a no-name, so sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you, please forgive me, cause I don't feel